Welcome to Stock Talk. This is your host, Scott. Hope you've had a good week or so or in trading. Um, we were kind of all over the place this week. Did have a couple good days the last couple of days. We're going to talk about NVAX uh, earnings, those type of things. So let's just jump into our folio, take a look at that. We've had a really tough week in the markets. Um, But again, we had a couple of good days here towards the end anyway. So we were able to recover a little bit. But here it is today. We see we had a really good day across all the markets today. NASDAQ especially up 3.82%. Novavax was up 8% here. You can see everything's green. Moderna was up too. The vaccines were up. And so let's just jump into it, take a look at Novavax, talk about Novavax. So here it is, and let's go ahead and pull up that 5-day chart. You can see that here the volume is a little heavier than normal and has been for the last week or so. But there's the 5-day chart. Let's go ahead and pull that up and wait for that to come up here. Let's see here. Make sure this is a 5-day. All right, here's the 5-day chart, and we are comparing this to Moderna. Moderna is going to be in the light bluish color. And then you've got the NASDAQ pretty much in the purple color there, and Novavax are the red and green candles. So as you can see for the 5-day period there, if you look over here, you can see where we're down 9.4% for the 5-day period, which is not good. We do have the other ones. The NASDAQ was down 2.79. Of course, it was closer to 5 for today. And then we've got Moderna's up just a tad for the week, 2.62%. So if we go out a month, I want us to take a look at a month there. And you can see here that on the 1-month chart, I got that set to a 1-day interval on the candles. But you can see here that Novavax is actually doing pretty good for the month. Okay, for the last month compared to the other two. We're right there with the NASDAQ, tracking the NASDAQ. And you can see here maybe a day or so behind on Moderna. So, I mean, taking it back a month, it's not so bad. Of course, the percentages are not too pretty. We're looking at, a negative 10.69%. But that's the market's doing about the same. So we are just kind of following the market over the last month. Now, we did have earnings. Let's talk about that a little bit. I can't remember if we spoke about that last week, but the earnings did come in, and we did miss on the top and the bottom line as far as revenues and earnings go. And but wasn't all that terrible. We ended up profitable for the quarter, and so I was kind of pleased with that. But the call just to me was terrible. I think we could do a lot better job on these earnings calls than we do. It just was kind of boring. We don't focus on the most important stuff sometimes. I think we dig way too deep in the weeds on these calls. It seems like to me. Maybe that's what those analysts are looking for, but I'm more interested in how many doses are you shipping, where are you shipping them, who's paying what for those doses, what's it look like for the next coming months, those kind of things. But they just don't seem to focus on that a lot on the calls. And of course, they did mention something about the Gavi contract and some of that shipping's being held up right now. So that was a piece of information that was not good that came out of the call. Now, what happened was the after hours was just terrible. We were down 20-something%, it looked like. And then the next morning we opened up and we were down that far. But the day we went and gained every bit of that back and actually closed green. So I thought, well, people are paying attention to what's going on, which means, they paid attention to the fact we did make money, we were profitable, and and we've got the FDA meeting down the road, and and all the good stuff. So my feeling was that they were paying attention to the good stuff, and then the next day it gave every bit of that back. So, and what I did read is one of the analysts did downgrade their price target from about 205 to 182, which is not terrible. I think we'd all take 182 right now for sure. But that might have been what made it give all that back. It was a bad day in the market too, so just you get beat up on days when you have bad earnings and bad market days, you're going to get crushed right now. Well, that's what happened to us. So that could have put us behind for the week for sure. But we did have a decent comeback. Let's go ahead and look at that chart a little bit more. Let's go ahead and pull that 5-day chart up again. And you can see here we were moving pretty good in a pretty good direction. Actually, Monday had gotten up there pretty good, around 62, I think, or 61, and we did fall off. This is the earnings call. You can see this deep drop right here, and then the next day we kind of fought our way back, and we actually ended up green for the day. And then the next day after that is when we got crushed again, and we're trying to fight our way back the last couple of days. And pretty good volume here on this day for sure. When we went up really good, and then we had pretty good volume the last couple of days, but not as good as this day. I think we were 10, 11 million or something like that, where we're normally about 4 or 5. So, but anyway, you can see we did. What I do like, what I've been seeing a lot lately here is when we do have a good day, we do seem to close close to the high, which is, to me, that's encouraging. You open up at certain levels and then you end up closing close to the high. So, and maybe it's not the high of the day, but it is close to that high. But that's a good sign. Um, but we just got to do better on these earnings calls as far as, first of all, making the numbers that everybody's expecting. Now, I will say this: the company has never given any kind of quarterly guidance. That's all the analysts that come up with that, and they're basing it off what they believe to be true. And then when things don't go that way, then of course we're going to get beat up because that's what everybody's expecting, and that's exactly what happened again. And so it's been a while since we've actually made some numbers. So hopefully we can do that soon. But everything is really, I mean, we're still heading in the right direction. They kept the guidance for the year, the 4 to 5 billion, which means the share price is really too low right now. But that's not going to correct itself until we continue to make these numbers, and plus the market's got to turn, which I don't know when that's going to happen. That's the whole deal, and it sure is painful to have so much good news and it just go to waste because the markets just won't let it do anything. Because you can just see we're tracking the Nasdaq over the last month. We're tracking the Nasdaq. We're just about even with them. So, um, if we don't have a green Nasdaq day, we're probably not going to have a green Novavax day. But just brace yourself for that. So we got to really pull for that Nasdaq to be up. And even Moderna, we like to trace Moderna. We've been out doing them the last few days, couple of days. When we have green days, we do seem to have, as far as percentage goes, because we're so low. Of course, our percentage usually is a little bit higher than Moderna's, but it is frustrating, and this whole market's frustrating. Trust me, I understand. I feel everybody's pain, but it will get better with time. Uh, so the question is, when do I think it's going to get better? I think it's going to get better myself. I could be totally wrong, and have been wrong. Uh, sure been wrong on this one lately, uh, but I'm thinking, November. If we can get a change of regime, I think we'll probably see a little bit better uh, number direction in this market. Hopefully by then, also the inflation will start to go the right direction. We did have some inflation numbers and come out this week, and still the same old as far as inflation goes. Nothing's really getting better there. So, but anyway, that's where we are. But we had the green day, but everything else has been pretty much the same direction. It's been heading the wrong direction. You can see here, Bitcoin's even gotten clobbered here lately. But we did have, again, the last couple of days have been good for us. So we'll take that. But let's just dive into some of our stocks here and just look at the little 5-day charts on them real quick. This is another biomed. You can see not much going on here for the 5-day period for the clear side. And then let's take a look at Bitcoin just for fun. We do have that HUT below it, and we're going to see how HUT's doing here in just a second. But you can see Bitcoin last 5 days it was up here at 34 and dropped all the way down here to 26 or so. Let's see. So yeah, so 34 to 26, that's a pretty good little drop. All the way back up. It did hit 30 something today, I believe. HUT's going to kind of follow Bitcoin, so let's take a look at that. And you can see here we did have a little bit of green today on that, and 12%. And the 5-day chart is down pretty good for the 5 days. 318 to 274. So that's a good little drop. And we got NVTA. It had a good day today, 14%, almost 15. But it's gotten clobbered here lately, like the rest of them. You can see it's just still not even able to get back to where it started the week. And TRYS up 2%. It's not doing much at all. But it looks like it actually had a flat week. So they've got all they can out of that one just about. And Nikola had a good day, 15% today. Okay. Good volume. We're getting a little bit of volume on that one too. It's nice to see. Let's see here. Pretty good week for that one. Flat almost. Yeah, just about flat. So a flat week is better than a red one. So we did have a couple that managed to have flat weeks. None of them having a green week. So that's been par for the course here lately. But hopefully this market will turn. Like I said, encouraging 2 days, but we've got Monday coming up right around the corner. So we'll see how it goes. But really, I believe that the market's just going to continue to do what it's doing. It's kind of going to go sideways or trend down, if anything. I mean, I would love to see it turn up, but if it does turn up, that'd be great. Today, the last 2 days have been a good sign that maybe it has finally just gotten tired of going down. Because what happens on these markets is you'll see, it works both ways. When it goes up, people get excited, and it keeps going up. That greed kicks in, and it just keeps going up. And then eventually it just runs out of gas. Okay. And people just say, I'm not going to risk it anymore. And then it starts to fall down. And then once that starts happening, then people get panicked, and the fear kicks in. Greed's gone, and the fear kicks in, and then people start selling. And that's probably the worst thing you can do when your stuff's going down like this, is to sell. Because what are you going to do? Where are you going to put it? Put it in cash. It's costing you 10% or more probably in inflation. But and then it's so hard to time to get back in. So that's where people mess up. Though, of course, it'll be halfway up before they decide they're going to get back in, and that time in the market is just too hard to do. So, but anyway, it will go down, and it will eventually get to the point where people say, I'm not touching anything, and it just will kind of settle there, and then people will start slowly buying again, and then it will start going up until people feel like, it's gone up a little bit. I'm going to take these profits if they can get any, especially after getting beat up like they have. So we'll see how that goes. We might see a little sideways up and down here for a while. Hopefully we've seen some bottoms in the markets. NVAX seems to have hit that 44 level bottom about three times now, and it's come up off of that one. So that's one we definitely want to keep our eye on, that 44 mark. Hopefully it don't go back down that low again. But we need to break through that 60 mark too. 60 would be a good one to get through. If we can get through that, we can keep moving up, hopefully. But that's where we're at. Appreciate you watching. We'll try to get back on here in a couple of weeks. And other than that, have a great couple of weeks of trading. Thanks. Bye.